I got written up for walking down the hallway in my own dorm. I walked into the shared kitchen of my dorm while wearing just a tank top and no bra, and saw a guy I'd never seen before sitting alone at the kitchen table. This is an all-female dorm, and anyone having guests over needs to let everyone else know. But whatever. As long as he was respectful, I didn't care. But the second he saw me, his eyes instantly locked onto my chest. He stared the entire time that I refilled my water bottle. Weird. But I ignored him. I quickly grabbed my water, didn't even bother with my popcorn, and walked back to my room to watch Netflix. 30 minutes later, I was halfway through the finale of Love is Blind when there was a knock on my door. It was Miranda from down the hall. Apparently the guy staring was her boyfriend, but she wasn't here to apologize for his behavior. Instead, she said, "Hey, this is kinda awkward, but could you wear something more padded when you come out, like a really padded bra?" I was confused. Padded? Miranda shifted uncomfortably. "It's just, you can tell you've had work done. The shape is different. It makes him uncomfortable." My stomach dropped. I had a mastectomy 2 years ago. Breast cancer at 20. I survived, but lost both breasts. Miranda knew this. Miranda also knew I don't like to wear my prosthetics around the dorm. It's my home. I should be allowed to be me. I was too stunned to say anything, so I just nodded and closed the door. The next night rolled around and I needed water, so I walked to the kitchen. No padding, no prosthetics, just a tank top. Miranda was there, with her boyfriend. But this time, 2 of his friends were here as well. Miranda's hadn't texted in the dorm group chat, and all their stuff was spread across the table like they owned the place. Laptops, snacks everywhere, taking up every seat. Even worse, when I walked in, it wasn't just the boyfriend who looked up. All 3 guys turned their heads towards me like I was an exotic animal at the zoo. Their eyes went straight to my flat chest. I filled my bottle as fast as I could and left. The next night, same thing. The girl, the boyfriend, the friends. All of them camped out from 8 p.m. This became their routine. They took over the kitchen every night, and every time I walked in to get water, they stared at my chest. Not aggressive or predatory staring, just intrigued, amused. Like my cancer story was a painting at a museum. Miranda especially always watched too, arms crossed, like I was doing something wrong by just existing in my own dorm. I started timing my water runs and trying to go when they might not be there. I started wearing hoodies even when it was hot. I survived cancer, and now I was hiding in my own home. 1 week later, there was a knock on my door. I opened it thinking it would be Miranda. Instead, it was the resident advisor. "I received an anonymous complaint about you." My heart dropped. About me? She looked uncomfortable. "Someone said you've been dressing inappropriately in common areas, making residents uncomfortable." The RA asked to come in, asked questions, looked at me like I was a peasant in the 1600s who'd stolen a loaf of bread. I told her everything. The mastectomy, the cancer. She nodded sympathetically, but still gave me a verbal warning about being mindful of shared spaces. I was shaking when she left. That same night, I needed water, so I walked to the kitchen. They were all there. They looked up when I walked in, and Miranda smirked. That was when I had enough. I stormed back to my room and pulled out my laptop. I was never one to go Karen mode and send complaints, but she'd brought this on herself. You see, Miranda's boyfriend goes to a different school, 2 hours away. Non-students aren't allowed in the dorms this year after a sexual assault incident last year. It's strict policy, and unlike the informing other dorm mates of guests coming over rule, this rule's adherence couldn't be faked. I found the anonymous complaint form, the one Miranda used against me, and typed carefully. "There's a resident on the 3rd floor who has non-student guests in the dorm every night. Multiple men who don't attend this school. It's a violation of guest policy and makes other residents feel unsafe in their own living space." I submitted it. 2 days later, an email went out to the entire floor. "Due to recent complaints, we will begin strictly enforcing the no off-campus guest policy. All guests will be required to show student ID upon entry. Non-students will be asked to leave. Repeated violations will result in disciplinary action for the hosting resident." That night, I walked to the kitchen. Empty. The next night, I went at the same time. Empty again. No laptops, no snacks, no entitled boyfriend sprawled out like King Creeper. I filled my water bottle slowly, enjoyed the silence. A few days later, Miranda cornered me in the hallway. Face red. "You did this." I blinked. "Did what?" "You know exactly what you did. You got my boyfriend banned." I tilted my head. "Banned? That's crazy." All I heard was they're enforcing the guest policy. "The one that says non-students aren't allowed?" I paused. "Your boyfriend is a student here, right?" She didn't answer. "Oh." I put my hand over my heart. "Miranda, your boyfriend was breaking the rules this whole time? That's so embarrassing for you." Her face went purple. I smiled sweetly. "Hey, look on the bright side. At least now you don't have to worry about what I'm wearing. Now, you only have to worry about why your boyfriend likes to stare at other girls' chests." She opened her mouth. Nothing came out. I patted her shoulder as I walked past.